How do you deal with loneliness? Maladaptive daydreaming. I like to call it manic rehearsals. There is a little bit of a difference between running through scenarios and maladaptive daydreaming. A lot of people run through scenarios to help plan their day, a conversation, check their thought process, etc. Maladaptive daydreaming is when you're creating a fantasy in your head, like a version of yourself living in a different world or interacting with people differently, to the point that you're actually distracting yourself from your own life. Ooh, relatable. My favorite pastime, especially when I'm trying to focus on something important. For me, I learned to be my own company. At a certain point, I was using other people to get me to go and do things. Meet up for lunch. Let's go see a movie. We can go explore a new place together. Eventually, I figured out the loneliness looks a lot like boredom. I felt bad by myself because I never did anything. Once I learned to flip that, I would go and do things with myself as company all the time. Then things got really fun. As naturally happens, that's when I started to find myself in the company of like-minded individuals. These days, I don't get as much time with myself as I would like. And honestly, I miss it a little bit. I had to learn this too, rather late in life. Story time. I didn't move out of my parents' house until I was 24. When I did, I moved into an apartment with my, at the time, wife. Yes, we lived with my parents. Young, dumb, broke, etc. That marriage fell apart. I then began seeing an old friend who moved in fairly quickly, and we got married. 11 years later, she got another babe and left. So, starting January 1, 2020, I was alone for the first time in pretty much ever. I was also 42 at the time. So, for 42 years, minus maybe 6 months, there had always been someone in the house with me. 2020, one was rough. My second ex took all our friends with her in the divorce, and I was truly alone. I literally woke up, went downstairs to log into work. We were 100% remote due to COVID from March of 2020, June 2020, June 2022. Got off work, watched movies and played video games. I didn't leave the house except to see my parents every so often and go grocery shopping or run errands. At some point in early 2022, I decided that I could go do things on my own. Go to movies, go to parks, etc. I figured it would suck, but who was going to go with me? It did suck at first, then it sucked less and less. Now, as a 44-year-old adult, I am perfectly happy with my own company, and in doing all of that, have made many friends whom I see on a regular basis. I even go to an old friend's house every weekend for dinner and game night. Friends come here, I go to them, we meet up regularly, and I still have my alone time that I use to watch movies, play video games, and spend far too much time here on Reddit. I've got more money, more free time, and I'm happier than I think I've ever been. Edit. Typing is hard. Wow, I've been doing this so long, so often, I thought it was just normal living. You mean to tell me people don't very often run scenarios, ideas, thoughts, through their head with themselves all day? I don't. It's crushing right now, and I just want to crawl out of my own skin. You are not alone, brother. Indeed, no person in this thread is. The loneliness connects us all. I know how you're feeling. It's frustrating. That's awesome to hear, man. I'm happy for you. May I ask how you found those new friends you see on a regular basis? I got a bunny. The bunny didn't like me, so I got a second bunny. That bunny was nicer, and made the first bunny nicer. So the answer is redundant bunnies. I made a cat appear. My BF was working a lot, and I didn't see much use in getting up while he was gone. I kept imagining a cat jumping on the bed to keep me company and need me. Problem though, I'm deathly allergic and we rent. One day, while I'm taking care of my parents' cat, I hear mewing in the distance. It's a tiny kitten. Well, I wasn't allergic to her and my landlord said I could keep her. So here we are. It's impossible to be lonely because she loves attention. Damn, you manifested a living thing. Teach me this superpower. I want a capybara. Awesome fix. Bunnies are underrated pets. Buntax! Show us your babies! Tepsu, dubini double redditcomments if you're too busy snacking. Just pay attention to me. Educational videos, podcasts, cooking, journaling. If I'm alone, then I'd like to work on improving the only person I'm in contact with, me. Honestly, this has done wonders for me. It started with just going to the gym, but eventually grew into dedicated self-improvement time. If I'm not happy with where I am in my life, I dedicate a concrete block of time every week to improving my life. Did it make me happy? Gods no. But I'm in a much better state than I was a few years ago. God, do I need help with this? I just had to move back to my mum's for the first time in 6 years since I graduated his. I had a terrible time in his, and I don't know anyone who lives here anymore. Small, rural town. My life has turned to complete shit in the last 2 months, and I'm just trying my best to wake up every day at this point. These responses are 1,000,000 times more wholesome than I ever would have expected on Reddit. You all are awesome, and you should feel awesome. I suffer in silence. I did too. How did it happen that you talk about it like it's in your past, if I may ask? He still does, but he used to too. I'll have to try this. I wanted to improve this year, and I'm procrastinating my improvement. Bro, same. Socializing feels just as lonely as being alone nowadays. Got to laugh at it, or else I'd cry. I feel more lonely when I'm around a group of people, which doesn't happen too often, and I'm content when I'm by myself. I think this is not going to end up too well for me. I am happy being alone, spend more time alone, eventually start feeling depressed because I have nobody to do anything with everything, force myself to go out and try to socialize, feel even more awkward and lonely, while around others retreat to the bliss of my solitude and repeat, but one step farther down the road of unhappiness. Music. All day. My Spotify is going all day long. Sunrise to sunset. Live alone and work alone. Last year raked in just under 120,000 minutes. I normally got into the top 0.1% of fans from extremely popular artists. Same, bro, literally same. I take myself out on dates. Fancy dinners are surprisingly affordable for one person. It'll usually be like $80, $100 that I'll spend on myself for dinner and a cocktail or two at a super upscale restaurant. I don't need to spend money though. Just going to a park or fair, maybe a cheap movie with the idea of taking yourself on a date is very nice. I read somewhere that you should listen to at least 10 songs a day to improve your overall mood. After a while, more like years, you kind of go numb. Always just a little bit sad, but it's there all the time, so I got used to it. That's how it feels for me. People come and go from my life. They never can or want to stay there permanently. I think I'm accepting that as a hard truth, because it doesn't bother me so much anymore, other than that little bit of sad. I live with it. Nothing I really can do. My girlfriend left me. Gym is the answer for me to deal with loneliness. Exercise, meditation, proper sleep schedule and steady diet, along with healthy hobbies and fun projects, or drugs and alcohol. Try boxing, masturbation and illegal drugs. Reddit. I'm a man. Most people don't care anyway. I just live with it. Been so long I don't know what I'd do if someone showed genuine concern for me.